Hello, everybody. How you doing? I hope you guys are doing well. Um, we're going to now be starting a different type of distance learning. There's going to be a lot more interactive communication between us. We'll be using things such as Screencastify, which I'm using now with you. We'll be using, of course, the usual Google Classroom, as you can see here. And we have some other technology communication apps like Flipgrid, which is this thing right down here, and I'll tell you about that shortly. And we're probably going to be using either Google Hangouts or we will be using Zoom, which is a video teleconferencing application that you'll probably get a little bit more information about that very, very shortly. Right? Okay, so what I want to do right now is I want to welcome you back to class and introduce our next unit. I know we were right there in the middle of our dystopian literature, but unfortunately, we can't. I don't want to say we can't finish it, but I want to think that we are finished with it because the work that I wanted to do with you really needs to have been done in person, one to one, in the same setting. So let's just put dystopian literature on the side. Okay, so we're going to move on, and it's sort of a continuation of dystopian literature because we're going to be looking at propaganda. And propaganda, if you remember, is a very, very, very important uh, part or characteristic of the dystopian literature that we were looking at before all of this started to happen. And so the name of the unit is called rhetorical analysis. Oh my God, big words. Rhetoric and analysis. All right, so what does that all mean? That's going to be your job. Okay. But what we're going to do is we're going to look at things such as the different techniques that are used to convince people of an idea or to buy something. Propaganda techniques are used every day in advertisements on TV. And we're also going to look at a part of propaganda and rhetoric, which are called logical fallacies. Two more big words. I think a lot of you are familiar with the word logic. Some of you may not know what a fallacy is. A fallacy is a mistake, but I don't want to get too deep into that. So, what we're going to be doing this week, what you're going to be doing this week, because you are an afternoon class, excuse me, and we are not going to be doing too much work, right? This is going to be more or less your, I don't want to say rest week, but it's called extension learning week, right? This is where in the coming weeks, you will have time to review what was taught to you the week before, right? And it's being done morning classes one week, afternoon classes another week. I'm sure you've probably been advised of this, emails from school, from the administrators. So, anyway, seeing as how you're an afternoon class, you're not going to have a heavy workload period 7, but I do have to give you something, and I'm going to use that opportunity to introduce you to propaganda. What we're going to do is we're going to look at some vocabulary that's used when we talk about propaganda. And of course, all of this is going to be on uh, Google Classroom page. But before we do that, I want to show you something. Right, we have here a Flipgrid um, link. And Flipgrid is sort of like an online video messaging service. Okay, so the first activity on Flipgrid is going to be a question, right? So you're just going to have to link the site, right? Go to the link, and it will load. Hopefully, it will load. Taking a little bit of time to load here. I'm not so sure if that's a good idea or not. There it is. Okay. All right. So what you're going to do is you're going to link in with your Google name, right? So I'm linking in with my Google name. Okay. And you're going to get something that looks like this. ELA 10. All right. So the topic, right, the first topic that we're going to look at is, hey, say hello on Flipgrid. Okay. Share something about what has happened with you over the last 4 weeks. Right. And how you do that is you scroll down and you click on this button, and you'll get a chance to record a little message, right? And you can share it with the class. Your classmates will be able to comment and share with you. Remember, let's keep it as appropriate as possible, okay? So that's going to be your first little exercise, all right? Now, I will post this, or it should be up when you see this. We're going to look at some vocabulary that is used during propaganda. Okay, now we've got 14 terms here. Some of them you may be familiar with, some of them you may not. All right, let's go through the list. Okay, rhetoric or rhetorical, propaganda, persuasion, manipulation, testimonial, logic, ethics, transfer, deliberately, absolute, volition, morality, propagate, propagation, directly connected to propaganda, and you'll find out, and mass media. All right, what I want you to do over this week is to look up all of these terms, and I want you to write down the definition underneath each one, right? You can skip a space, it's a Google Doc, and in your own words, tell me what the word means, okay? Do not cut and paste the definition from an online source, right? So look, this is what you guys are going to be doing this week, okay? So your assignment this week is introduce yourself on the Flipgrid and work on these 14 terms, and that's really all you have to do, okay? I'll be available between the hours of 7:40 a.m. and 3:01 p.m. Right, to answer your questions, to monitor your work if you want to. We could even have a conference if need be. And that's really about it. Okay. All right. See you guys very soon. I hope. Take care.